Hi everyone, welcome to the International Puppet Fringe Festival, virtual festival now. We just finished 5 days on Sunday, 5 days of an amazing on-site festival here in New York City. My name is Manuel Moran, and I'm the founder and producer of the festival, and also the director of Teatro SEA, one of the producing companies that, along with the Moran Group and the Clemente Soto Vélez Cultural and Educational Centers, are bringing you this festival on site and virtual. Tonight is a very special night for me and for all of us at the festival, because we are honoring once again our dear friend, I feel like a mentor, somebody that I admire so much, Vincent Anthony, the founder of the Center for Puppetry Arts, the most important puppetry center here in the United States. The festival is dedicated to Vince, and I am so thrilled and so happy that we could have a conversation, a talk to hear and to find out a little more about this, his amazing work and his incredible legacy. And with me tonight is John Lotwy. He's the artistic director of the Center for Puppetry Arts, and a dear friend, somebody who I also admire. So, John, are you there?
Here, Manuel. Hi, everybody. Hi. So, I just do a little brief introduction of Vince for those who maybe don't know about his amazing life so far, as it is. Well, Vince was the founder and strategic advisor of the Center for Puppetry Arts. He is that now. The center was founded in 1978. And it's the largest institution dedicated to the art of puppetry, with 3 branches in education, museum, and production. Vince started as a puppeteer. We have a slide, please. The first slide we have as a young puppeteer.
Wonderful photo.
Yeah, it's part of your poster.
Yes.
Yeah, that's Vince with the Niccolo puppets, and he started his own company. Next slide, please. And that was the Vagabond Marionettes. And then he started his Center for Puppetry Arts with support from Jim Henson. And yeah, we'll go to the next slide. We have a picture there. Then now this is at the 10th anniversary. Jim was an incredible inspiration for us. And we still receive lots of support from the Henson family and the foundation. Awards. Do you want me to go into some special awards? There's a lot of them. There's a whole page, but I'll just go through a few. He's got the Governor's Award from Georgia, state of Georgia, President's Award of Puppeteer of America, Lexus Leader of the Arts, Georgia Arts and Entertainment Legacy Award. He served on the NEA review panel, and he's the past president of the Puppeteers of America. He's the General Secretary of UNIMA USA. He's the Arts Atlanta Luminary Award for Outstanding Leaderships. And most recently, the International Puppet Fringe Festival 2021 is dedicated to Vince Anthony.
Yes. Very good. So
yeah,
we have to see the other 2 slides of the Center for Puppetry.
Oh yeah, we want to see the building, in case you wonder if you ever get into Atlanta. That's the way the old building looked. It was an old school. And then we made this new museum. Actually, the old school is still there. Don't fret. It's a 100-year-old building, and it's safely nestled right behind this new portion, which looks like this. Next slide, yeah. And
beautiful.
Then we have a wonderful picture of Vince and Jim Henson coming back full circle. And we're still expanding, still moving on.
That's correct. So without further ado, let's bring Vince.
Yeah.
The hour. Vince. Yay!
Nice introduction, John.
Vince,
you deserve it.
We're so thrilled that you're here with us. We're a little sad that you couldn't come to New York, but I am so happy. I feel so close that we're doing this together, and we John, even better.
I'm there in spirit, so
yes. Yes. So I wanted, before we start with questioning you and asking you for you to illuminate us with your experience and with your knowledge, we want to let people know that if you have any questions, that you would like to ask Vince, you can write it on the chat, and I will be telling Vince. So we'll tell the name of the person and the question. We'll dedicate a couple of minutes after we ask a couple of questions. Go ahead, John.
Okay, our first question is, tell us something about the beginning. What gave you the idea to create a Center for Puppetry Arts?
Well, actually, there were two phases of my career. The first phase was to create my own company. And I created the company Vagabond Marionettes in Atlanta, Georgia. And that company toured around the United States and had a home season in Atlanta at the Memorial Arts Center. At that time, it was called the Memorial Arts Center. And that all happened for about 10 years or so before the idea was born to start a center. So you want to know about Vagabond or the center itself?
No, the center.
Okay. So during the time that I was with Vagabond Marionettes, I became involved. I became very involved with Puppeteers of America, and I was the president for several years. And during that time, we were planning this huge festival in Washington, D.C. I know you went to the festival, didn't you, John? John?
What's that?
Didn't you go to the festival?
Yes, in 1980.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, that was great. Sandro, can you boost Vince's mic a little? Because we're sort of breaking up a little.
Is that better?
Yes, that's much better. Thank you. Now we can hear you.
Okay. Anyway, so phase one, as I mentioned, was creating my company, Vagabond Marionettes. And during that time, I'm president of Puppeteers of America. And Puppeteers of America and Women USA were jointly planning this festival for Washington, D.C. And it was going to have several elements to it. It's going to have performances from all over the world, indoors and outdoors. It was going to have this wonderful professional workshops that were taking place at Georgetown University. And Georgetown University was housing for the festival as well. And then there was the two wonderful exhibits, one at the Smithsonian and another at another location. And the second, they actually toured around the United States after the festival. Well, that was all being planned while I was president of Puppetry of America. And it gave me ideas about what the future of puppetry would look like, because I felt that those kind of elements that we were planning for in Washington would be wonderful for a location somewhere in the United States to have on a regular basis. And that's where the idea was born to create the Center for Puppetry Arts out of that experience. And at that time, the city was releasing schools that they no longer used. And there was one very close to the Memorial Arts Center at that time. And they moved in the Civil Arts Organization and started the Center for Puppetry Arts.
Amazing. Vince, if you can, they're saying here, move a little closer to the mic.
Okay.
So yes, so we can, I think there's a little echo. So fantastic. Go ahead, John. Keep going.
Yeah, our next question is, what was it about Atlanta that made you decide to open a center here? And why Atlanta?
Well, Atlanta was, my family lived in Florida at that time. And a couple of other company members had families in the Southeast. And we decided that Atlanta was centrally located and would be an ideal place for us to not only perform in, but to tour out of. So that's really where that idea was born. And we had, and I have to say that luck played a big part in all of the center's growth, center's existence.
How so?
Well, things went well from the very beginning. I mean, I was thrilled. First of all, Atlanta accepted our participation as an arts organization, and we had huge audiences in Atlanta. We performed here at the center in Atlanta, and we had huge audiences. We were welcomed by our peers around the country. That was wonderful. to have peer approval. It was just a great time. The starting of the center was a great time.
Wonderful.
The third question belongs to you.
Yes. So, was there some person or model that influenced you?
Well, to begin with, I started my career working for Niccolo Marionettes in New York. And Nick Coppola was our boss then, and he was an inspiration and wonderful to work with. So he definitely had a part in inspiring me and encouraging me personally. Then after that, during the planning of the festival in Washington, I met Jim Henson, and I gave him my ideas, told him about wanting to form a center with all those elements in it that were in the festival we were planning. Jim was involved in festival planning itself. He underwrote the festival. So Jim was a wonderful mentor and a wonderful friend. And I think he had the most influence early on.
Wonderful. Kind of like oh, now you say double. This is life. So, I just wanted to say that it kind of like full circle because you come somebody from New York inspire you, and then you do Atlanta, and now we're back in New York because you inspire me from Atlanta. So this is
Well, I'm happy to have you say that.
yeah, of course you have been a big influence on my career, and the center has been a model for me to follow. So I thank you for that. Go ahead, John.
Okay, what are some of the biggest challenges you have faced, and how did you overcome these challenges?
Well, I can either tell you there are a lot of challenges, or I can tell you that we conquered all of them. So that it's amazing how far we've come. Some of the challenges are recent. Creating our new museum space was a huge challenge, and that was inspired by the fact that Jim Henson's family offered us a collection of the Muppets, and we needed a home for them. The center didn't have the room in our museum galleries to house that huge collection. So we started a campaign to raise $15 million to create a whole new wing on the center to hold primarily the Henson collection. We also had enough room in it to reinstall our Global Connect collection as well. So we have two wings in the museum, the Jim Henson wing and the Global wing. And both of them are quite spectacular, as you guys know.
Question. I'm just interjecting. How many puppets were in that Henson collection?
Yes, we were so pleased to have gotten between 500 and 600 puppets,
Wow.
mostly puppets, and then some other stuff, some props and some other things.
Wow, that's amazing.
And it took us to get them ready to be on view. What we do is we rotate them in and out of the museum every 6 months. We rotate them in and out. So to get them ready to be viewed as museum objects, we had 2 conservators working for 3 years on just refurbishing and restoring the puppets. So it was quite a task.
Yes, somebody's asking. It's Leslie Ash is saying, is anyone able to see the talk? Oh, yes, everybody's seeing it. You cannot see it. If somebody cannot see it, just let us know. I think we're live already. If you cannot hear us or something, just let me know. We'll figure it out here. Go ahead, John.
Yeah, what are some of the highlights that you are most proud of?
Oh, there's so many, as I mentioned. First of all, starting off, we were talking earlier about luck. One of the luckiest things that happened was when we were planning the opening of the center, which was going to be September 23rd, 1978. I flew to Hollywood to speak with Jim Henson. He was making the Muppet movie at the time, to ask him to come and cut the ribbon and open the center. And I flew out there. He was creating the movie. He had me come on the set and watch them film a wonderful sequence of film about the campfire with buckets around it, and I watched him film it. He had me look at the camera, and it was really quite wonderful. And afterwards, we went to lunch, and I told him about my plans for the center, and he looked at me and he said, "You know what?" I said, "Jim, will you be there?" He looked at me and he said, "You know what? Kermit will be there. Maybe he'll bring me along." So that's how that lucky thing happened. And we did have Vincent and Kermit at the opening of the center, got the ribbon to open the center. Jane Henson was there as well, and so is Heather Henson.
That's great. Such a great story.
Yeah. And through the years, we've had many more things. As you saw in the photograph that you showed earlier, Jim came back 10 years after the opening and did a special performance just for us as a fundraiser to raise funds for the center. And you saw that picture at the top of the hour where he was cutting the ceremonial birthday cake.
Yeah, I remember that. That was so cool.
Yeah. And his performance was amazing.
Oh, yeah. It was wonderful. And then it was unique. Like one time, yeah, it was so beautiful.
And John, you've been there since the beginning as well?
Yeah, since '78. Yeah.
Wow. I'm jealous.
Great. You owe it all to Vince.
I would have loved to be there.
I owe everything to Vince.
Oh.
And so it's a lot of us. I mean, we all owe this man so much for what he's done for the art form, mostly just giving it the respect that it needs to get from people. You know, like people think of puppets and they don't always react the way we would like them to.
Yes.
You know, they're like, well, what do you do for a real living? You know, we've all been there. We've all been there.
Yes.
Okay. So here's a tough one. Knowing what you know now, is there something you would have done differently?
That's a tough one.
Yeah.
Because, as I mentioned earlier, I really feel that all my dreams have been fulfilled. I can't say one thing or another that I would do differently. You know, I would have moved to Atlanta because that was the best place for me to be. I would have taken over the former elementary school. That was a wonderful opportunity that I wouldn't have wanted to miss. That was fortuitous to have.
How did that come about? How did you find the place?
Well, we knew that the schools were being let go by the school system, by the Atlanta school system.
Right.
And the Atlanta Ballet had moved into our building. They were the first ones to move in. There were actually several arts groups in our building. So we moved in along with the Atlanta Ballet, and we were leasing the building at the time. And there's a long involved story about our keeping the building because someone came along and tried to buy it out from under us. And we had a royal battle, and we won, which was amazing.
But was that you went to trial? What?
Well, he had an injunction to stop us from buying it, so we had that to overcome. But it turned out beautifully. The school board and the city of Atlanta stood behind us all the way, and we got the building, and the rest is history.
Mm. And again, I see also similarities because in the building where the Clemente, where the theater is, Teatro Sea is, and where we host where we held the festival, the Puppet Fringe Festival, also was a school, and the building have gone through so many issues and legal situations and everything for us to preserve it as a cultural center.
Yes.
So there's some similarities there.
Well, are you on the historic register?
No, we're not. We should be. It's a beautiful building, and we should be. But we were exploring that before renovating it. And to tell you the truth, it was if we were registered as a historic building, it was going to cost us 3 or 4 more more expensive to renovate it.
Yes, that's what I was thinking.
So right now, I think that after we renovated inside, probably we should just go and join the historic register. Because it's a beautiful school, it's an amazing place.
Yes,
Like the center as well.
Yeah, I've seen pictures of it. It really looks beautiful.
Yes.
Oh yeah, it's a beautiful, beautiful building.
Yeah, we didn't get on the historic register either because of those same reasons. We didn't want to be restricted in the renovation.
But you are now? Is like or not?
No, we're not. We're not on the historic register. We had too many changes to make to that we wanted to make that we knew would not be approved by that entity. So we decided not to go on the historic register.
That's right. That's a similar situation. We still have a long way to go to renovate our building, but we have started and lots have been achieved already. Great. So go back to you, John.
Okay. Well, this kind of this vamps on the same theme. How do you deal with having a permanent space? What are the pros and cons? I mean, one of the unique things about the center is that we own it. And,
Yeah.
But then on the other hand, it's a 100-year-old plus building, and yeah.
We've done a lot of renovation because it is a 100-year building and we needed to do so many things to it. And we've been slowly but surely raising funds all along to make improvements. Some are simple things like brick and mortar, making sure that the brick and mortar is sturdy and strong. Other things aren't done for other purposes. We're creating spaces for ourselves. We created the main stage theater from a former rec room gymnasium.
Yeah.
We put the seating in and made our main stage theater there. And then we built, in addition to the building, on the side of the building and turned that into our small theater, the downstairs theater. And then we put in a seated prop shop behind our building, adjacent to our building. We were lucky to have 3 acres in downtown Atlanta. And it's proved to be quite a wonderful investment.
Yeah, and the neighborhood's totally grown up around it.
Yeah.
So the place has 3 theaters, as I remember, and workshops and library and classrooms. And tell us more about, for the people who doesn't know the center.
Well, it's huge, and there's a huge staff. You get 70-something people working on the staff, both full-time, part-time. And we have the reason that the center is so viable right now is we have directors of programs who are bought into the vision, bought into my vision of what the center should be, and have brought with them their own vision of things that they could do. So that has been the secret of the longevity of the center. We have too many to mention, but we have a wonderful new museum director, Sarah Adila, and we have a wonderful education director, Aretta Baumgartner, and a wonderful theater producer, Kristen Haverty, and of course John, the artistic director. And many of our people who are on staff have actually been with us either from the beginning or for a long period of time. Lisa Rhodes, who is still with us, has been with us for 35 years as administrator.
Wow.
We have a lot of our people have been with us a very long time.
Yeah, you should get Lisa on one of these panels. Let her. She knows all the good stories from the center.
She's the historian. She knows all the
Truly.
stuff. She can remember all the events and all the people and all that stuff.
Look, I have a question here from Arita. She said, "Can you ask Vince if it's true that the center colors are the same as the school colors for Spring Street School?"
Yes, they are the green and the pink are the Spring Street colors.
Didn't know that.
She said she'd been wanting to. She heard that, but she been wanting to ask him, and she always forgets to ask you.
Wow, I did not know that.
Yeah,
Huh.
we have a big alumni. It was an elementary school, and we still have people coming by to see where they went to school when they were at that age. It's kind of fun.
Great. Go ahead, John.
Yeah, well, we sort of answered this question, but if you want to, longevity is a main factor in the center's success. Many of the team have been around for a long time. Your comment on that? What do you attribute this to? I know what I think it's you.
Yes.
Repeat that.
People stick around. They're either there for 3 days or they're 30.
Ooh, I'm sorry, I didn't hear the first part.
The staff. It's just that a lot of people on the team have really been with us for quite some
years
time.
and years and years. I mean, I can't even count. Kristen's been there more than 10 years, maybe 15 or 20. Loretta's been with us at least 10 years or more. She can tell you, she's on the chat. She can probably tell you, Manuel, how long she's been around.
Okay.
You mentioned Lisa has been more than 35 years, Lisa Rhodes. It's John, 42 years. It's been a great effort, and the reward has been having people working there who you enjoy being around and you admire. And I do admire the staff members here a lot.
That's fantastic. Well, what makes a good leader? You are a fantastic leader. What are the important aspects of leadership, Vince, for you?
Well, I think it helps to begin with by having a vision. Without a vision, I think you just flounder and fall off. I mean, a vision is the most critical thing, and it's something that everyone around you expects you to share with them. So having a vision and making the vision happen is critical, I think, to being a leader. And the rest falls in place. Once you have that vision, people will hear about it, learn about it, and they will join you or not. But if they want to join you, usually that's a very wonderful thing. And if they join you and they want to share your vision, that's wonderful. That's really wonderful.
And you didn't leave this out, but Sarah Bermenko is another person
Yes.
for digital learning. I know
Learning, yes.
you were thinking of her.
She's been there for many more than 10 years. She's been running the distance learning program.
And with a program that really, because of the COVID, we already have this distance learning, digital learning program platform already there.
Yes. We put digital learning in the center in 1989. And no, 1998. And it's been a beautiful part of what we've been doing all these years. It's a wonderful aspect of the center. It's still going, so if people want to check it out, they can go to the center's website at puppet.org and check out the distance learning.
Yeah, and one other shout out we should give it to Liz Lee.
Yeah.
Yes, please. Yeah.
Liz is retired now, but she started out actually with me before the center. She actually was with me when we were over at the art center.
Oh, that's right.
She was our production manager there. And then when we moved over to this new facility, the center facility, she came along and stayed there until she retired a couple of years ago. She was there a long time, 40 years or so.
I had the opportunity to work with her because when we toured, when we did residencies with you guys at the center, she was our producer and she was fantastic. So a big kiss to Liz. And people in the chat are saying Jeff. He said that it will be 20 years for him in November.
Yes.
Here at the center. Arieta says 10 years. She's celebrating 10 years already at the center.
Already is, yeah.
Yes. So many people. John, Arita, Jeff, Hillary, Meredith. That's what they're saying here. Yes.
Yes. We try to make this, we've been trying to make the center a comfortable place for people to work. And that's important.
Yeah.
Beautiful.
Jason and Carol. We could just go on and just name names. So, and everybody who's come through our doors has been wonderful.
Very good. So, John, I think the next question is yours.
Yoki dokie. What advice would you give someone wanting to start their own center?
Good
Well, funny thing you should ask that. Someone was interning at the center for a while, and he wants to start his own center. And so I outlined for him a way to do it at very limited outlay of cash. It's complicated. I can give you the highlights if you want, but it was fun. It was fun to imagine creating the center all over. It was a fun experience for me, and it was a great challenge for me to put down on paper the things that I saw that could be done for someone out there somewhere to do something like this. In his case, he had limited funds available, so I tried to advise him based on limited access to startup money. So, for instance, I recommended the first thing to do would be to contact the Volunteer Lawyers for the Arts and make his nonprofit organization do that. I advised him to do a variety of things that have very little cost connected to them. For instance, he didn't have a space. He wants to do it in the Midwest somewhere and didn't have a space in mind. I told him to go ahead and look around at all the spaces he could find in the city he's planning to go to. Do a search of all the places, and then make a deal with the owner of the space. If he couldn't get it himself, make a deal with the owner of the space to share revenues that come in from his performances. Then I mentioned to him the possibility of choosing some really good artists that are out there somewhere and asking them to put his new organization on their schedule of tours and offer them a percentage of the income. So it went on like that. We did lots of, it was very creative, and there's a lot of legwork for him, but not a lot of cash outlay. So that was kind of how that went.
Yeah, and good advice.
Yes. People are saying, Nancy's saying, don't forget Alan Lewis.
Oh, Alan, yeah.
Yes. Alan Lewis was a wonderful education director for many, many years. And we really appreciate all of the time he spent with us.
Very good.
Yes, Nancy, thank you for reminding me.
Yeah, Nancy Staub. Then how did you two connect?
Yes.
Well, I met Nancy in 1974 at her festival in New Orleans. And we became friends at that time. And we had a vision for creating a museum. And it was a wonderful idea. And I have to say that in building the center and creating a museum for the center, Nancy was our inspiration. She had a vision for knowing what it was that it would take to make an exciting collection. And I said to her a long time ago, go ahead and tell us what you see you want to do, and we'll follow her. So Nancy was the inspiration for our museum. We actually have a library named after Nancy in the museum now.
That was from the get-go too, right?
Yes. So thank you, Nancy, for the wonderful help you've given.
If people want to know and hear about Nancy's experience in the center, we're going to have another talk between 3 museums of puppetry, between the Topic from Tolosa, the Center for Puppetry Arts in Atlanta, and the curator of the exhibition here at the Museum of the City of New York. That's happening on Saturday, I think this Saturday at 12.
Well, that's great.
So it will be beautiful. People will join us as well to hear from Nancy herself, her story. So we're all thankful to her.
Yes, our collection is vast because of Nancy. It's a vast collection, huge. And fortunately, we have proper storage space to store it and proper museum staff to take care for it. It's a wonderful part of our.
Beautiful. So the next question from me is, what is the future of puppetry, and how does your center fit into this ever-expanding art form?
Well, it's such a difficult question to answer. I've been asked this before. And when I've been asked this during the pandemic, my standard answer has been, we need to wait and see what the future holds. Because the pandemic is horrifying And instead of getting better, it looks like it's worsening. So I think that we do need to have a way to see time for us to figure out, for the center itself to figure out where we're going, and for puppeteers all over the country to figure out where they want to go.
Yes.
So I do see the center continuing, though, the work that we're doing now, which is we've instituted live performances again, although limited. We've instituted that. We've opened our museum with limited attendance as well, but people can safely go through the museum because it's so large and have their own space. And we've instituted the distance learning program vigorously. It's much more than it was due to Sarah's great work. And we hope people tune into that. A lot of it's free, and some of it is for a small fee. We had a series of performances that were by several cameras a while back, and we put those in our repertoire of available opportunities online. And so I see us continuing what we're doing right now for a while, and growth I think we'll have to hold on to until this pandemic is under control. We had so many things. Actually, we've gotten funds during the pandemic from a couple of foundations to do some very important work at the center. John, you can talk a little bit about what we're doing in the theater itself. It's amazing what's happening there. Can you hear me, John?
Yeah. Yes, we're in the middle of a refresh of the main stage audience area. We're getting new lighting, so it's not quite so dark. New paint jobs, new cushions. They fixed the HVAC. It's just amazing. It's like a total redo. Although it still looks the same, it's just readjusted. New paint on the walls. That was my first job, was painting the walls green with Liz Lee. So yeah, we really appreciate that. And they're refurbishing the rehearsal hall as well right now, even as we speak.
Good, very nice.
And I want to correct an error I made. I said that the school's colors were the same as the center's colors, and they were green and pink. Actually, they're green and purple, a wonderful hue of purple. So, and that's the color I think you were painting the walls, weren't you?
Yeah, we're going with that theme.
Yeah.
Very, very nice. So, John,
yes,
your last question, so we can answer some of the questions from the people watching.
Yeah, Vince, is there anything you want to say about your legacy?
Well, I kind of simplify that question by simply saying smiles. I hope that the smiles on people's faces as they leave the center are there. And in that case, I would consider it a success and a major part of my legacy.
Beautiful. I want to say that it's more than just the people leaving the center. Like we all continue smiling because of the work you have done and what you have left us.
Well, thank you.
So even from far from Atlanta, we're still smiling at your work because we're admiring your work.
Well, you've done so many things, so many great things up there in New York. It's really kind of amazing. This festival is beyond belief. Even with all the restrictions that you're having to deal with, you've pulled off something quite magnificent. So bravo to you.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much. And I'm so happy that we were able to do this for you, because I told you last year, it was supposed to be last year. It took us a little bit to convince you. And then, obviously, when finally you accepted and we were so thrilled, then the pandemic happened. So, and we had to cancel, but I'm glad that we're doing this for you, Vince. So, John, should we see if people have some questions from the chat? I think.
Absolutely.
Yeah, I have here from Areta. Most memorable moment as puppeteer. What is your most memorable moment as a puppeteer?
Me?
Yes.
Yeah, you.
That was so long ago. I'll have to find it. I guess the most wonderful moment for me this is going to sound corny, was picking up a marionette for the first time and having to audition for a role in a touring company. I swear that when I picked that puppet up and I held it and tried to walk it and do things with it, I fell in love. And I found a career at that moment. I guess that's my favorite time.
Beautiful. And they say a most memorable moment as an audience member watching puppetry.
Oh my goodness.
That's a big one.
Wow.
Oh, so many moments. John's probably at the heart of the moments that I value the most, because his shows are so magnificent and so well done. And I think that any of his productions
Oh.
are
I agree.
Yeah, thank you guys. Gosh.
You are truly gifted, John.
I appreciate that, Vince. I get it all from you. If it wasn't for you, I don't know what I'd be doing.
Beautiful.
It's been a fun time.
Yeah. And the guest artists we've had, that's been sort of, it's been
Yeah.
like a,
Yeah.
going to school without having to leave the city.
Yeah, it's kind of like the icing on the cake, having people from all over the world come and perform there. I mean, it's been such a lovely aspect of the center.
And getting to know people like Pietro Sea.
Yes.
Dr. Sale
Yeah.
has been a major player in the center's program. He
Yeah.
brought several productions in Spanish and English to Atlanta, and our audiences have grown a lot because of them.
Thank you so much for that. Favorite place you've toured, Vince?
Oh, I can't. I used to favorite places when I was still touring, which was the first part of my career. I must have toured for 10 or 15 years. I used to love driving into a small town that we knew we were going to do a show in the next day, and walking around this little tiny place and seeing it. It's all of its grandeur. I mean, I love small towns, centers of small towns. That was probably the most fun I had when I was touring, was seeing small towns.
Beautiful. Any other questions? Let me see if I don't see any other questions. Come on, guys. We still have a few more minutes.
Yeah, you have this genius at your disposal to ask the questions, the ones that are burning in your heart. Don't let this opportunity escape. Act now.
Yeah. Let's see. I'm not seeing any more questions. People are sending a lot of hearts to you. Claudia says, what do you think puppetry in the US needs next?
Good question.
Very good question.
Well, you know, there's always a need for more money. I hate to say it, but reality is more people investing in puppetry, more people producing puppetry through grants and through other means. I mean, I guess if I were going to say what the field needs right now, it's investment. It's investment by public and private sector to make puppeteers, to enable puppeteers to do much more and to do it really well. Speaking of that, the Vincent Foundation is a very important part of that structure. I wish there were 10 foundations like that, more foundations like that. They have been instrumental in so much art, so much puppetry arts, traveling the country and being seen by so many people. It's really been wonderful. Cheryl Henson deserves a heads up. Congratulations on that. She has spearheaded the Henson Foundation, and it's all of its work.
Very good. We have another question. They're saying you're supposed to be retired. What are your plans? Because we know that you're still working.
Well, I'm enjoying less pressure. I should think that. I'm still going into the center one full day a week, and then some part-time stuff. and I do stuff from home a lot on Zoom, and I'm enjoying it because I still feel so connected to the center, having created it. It's hard to disassociate myself with the everyday activities. So I'm still working with Kristen and John on the theater productions. I'm still working with. I'm still the General Secretary of UNIMA USA. I'm enjoying that tremendously. It's a wonderful role, and UNIMA is a wonderful organization. If you don't already know about them, go visit them online. UNIMA, UNIMA USA. And so I'm doing some, and I'm also still helping with fundraising. So I am doing several things at the center still. What I had hoped to do, and maybe I can get some idea from you, what I had hoped to do was also start to actually mentor some organization in administration. That would be something that would, I think, come naturally to me and would be a challenge to me for the future. I'm not sure I have the time to do it now, but that has been something that's crossed my mind.
You did it for us for Teatro Sea. You remember that we got a grant and we brought you to do an audit for it, and we brought you to New York, and it was amazing to have you.
You wrote a big report. I loved it. I enjoyed that very much.
And then we had to bring some of our staff members to be with the staff members at the center. It was beautiful, and you don't know how much that helped us a lot. So that's really a beautiful thing that you did for us, and you're, you know, I implemented many of the things that you taught me. So very happy. People are saying here, no questions. That's Leslie Ash. No questions, but bravo, Vince. Tons of hearts. So any more questions? Do we have any more questions? I'm trying to see.
I'll say something to Leslie. Leslie, thank you. And I love your book. It's fantastic. Really fantastic. I hope it's selling out.
She has been fantastic for our festival too. The exhibition she co-curated at the center is beautiful, really beautiful.
Yes, I've heard wonderful things about it.
Everybody is so thrilled. I am so thankful to Leslie. So kisses, Leslie. Thank you so much for doing all.
Thank you, Leslie.
Any other questions from the people watching? Well, I want to take the time to say thank you so much to the Center for Puppetry Arts. They have been wonderful since I had this idea of honoring you. They help us, you know, put together a beautiful photographic exhibition of your work prior to the center and during your tenure at the center. It's right at the lobby of the Clemente Center on the Lower East Side. It's going to be there until the end of the month. So people are more than welcome to come to the building on the Lower East Side and see this beautiful exhibition called Vincent Anthony's Legacy. So we also want to let you know that at 8 o'clock tonight, we continue with the festival, the virtual festival, and it is the time for Africa, a performance from Africa. We're so excited from Soro Badrisa, who's also a leader in UNIMA International. He submitted a proposal. It's a beautiful and very interesting presentation. So I invite people to go to the YouTube page of Puppet Fringe NYC and watch this production. And last night we presented a production from Dadi Pudunji from India. Amazing as well. I think it's going to be there just for a few more hours. So if you haven't seen it, please go and watch it. I have people are saying that you're a member of honor of UNIMA. Your legacy will live on and on and on. Thank you, Vince. That's from Carol Epstein. Nancy also said you're a member of UNIMA. Somebody sent a question. Say, are there any plans to elevate and collaborate with puppeteers and artists of color?
Yes, both UNIMA USA and Puppeteers of America both have initiatives going on right now to have a very diverse population of members in both organizations.
and you've been doing that because the fact that you brought many years ago Teatro Sea to start a Latino series at the center, and it's going well, and the audiences are growing. So I think it's wonderful that you're that the center is doing that, and continues to do that.
Yes.
So John, do you have anything else to say? We could be here for a long time, but for us to start wrapping up.
Yeah, it's been fantastic to have this tribute to Vince. I appreciated Manuel for you guys and your companies of hosting this incredible festival. I wish I had been there. I was there for the first one and absolutely loved it. It was just fantastic. I'm sorry I couldn't have been there this time, but next time.
Yes.
Oh, that's a question. Is there going to be a next time?
Yeah, we are going to. This is supposed to be a biennial festival, so it's every other year, because we need the time to raise the funding and to be able to do this. But yeah, a lot of people that want to collaborate. A lot of people want to join this crazy idea of mine. And yes, I am praying to God, crossing my fingers that we'll have another Puppet Fringe in 2023. But one thing that we did that I think we're going to continue is that we established a week, a Puppet Week NYC. And we plan to celebrate that every year with some events, even if we don't have a festival that year. So I really hope that we can continue collaborating with the Center for Puppetry Arts, and having virtual stuff, and also presential stuff. So it would be wonderful to continue, and I see that the festival is growing and growing. So we need more festivals in the US. And I'm glad that I'm able to contribute with this idea. Vince, last few words to our audiences.
Thank you to my two hosts, John and Manuel. Thank you both so much. I appreciate your attention.
We love you, Vince. We love you. We admire you. And what you have done is really incredible. And what you continue doing, it's really incredible. So we send all our best to you. We'll see you soon. To everybody watching, thank you so much. John, thank you for doing this with us, with me. And we will see you soon. Continue enjoying the International Puppet Fringe Festival.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Bye, everyone.